Welcome back, everyone. In today's video, I am flying out the Kawasaki Ki-100, which was requested by a viewer. So this plane is pretty uncommon to see in ARB, but I've noticed that they are very annoying to kill if I face them when they're flown by a competent pilot. And when I saw a comment under one of my videos telling me to check it out, I got curious and I played some matches, and I could not stop playing them. So I found the Ki-100 to be pretty enjoyable to fly, and I had lots of fun in it. The biggest strength of this plane is that people don't really know how to fight it. It's very similar, actually, to how I would play like the RE2005. I play it nearly identical, and I bait people into fights and reversals, and people underestimate the plane, which allows you to get some pretty fun games. So in today's match, I have a couple of high kill games, including some very action-packed 7-kill games, an 8-kill game, and a 6-kill game. I hope you guys enjoy. So starting off, we have a 7-kill carry. Unfortunately, this did end in a loss, but it does provide a lot of examples on how to kind of fly this plane. So we start off by head-oning a Yak 9, and since I have more energy, I go up, and if he follows this, he is pretty much dead. And since he goes up kind of with me for a bit too long, I'm going to be able to loop back over and then catch him. He turns back in, and gives me a full broadside, and I end up taking his pilot out. Skipping forward just a bit. We're just kind of flying around looking for targets to pick, and the I-185 is now coming towards me, and I'm going to want to start diving down to gain some speed to dodge. And once he gets close, he actually pitches up here, but yeah, once he gets close, I want to follow, and then I easily win this turning competition. I turn probably twice as well as him, and if he sticks this, then he's going to die very soon. His only chance was to dive away, kind of at the bottom of his loop there. I end up getting a pretty easy shot, taking both of his wings off, and now I am above, I believe, 3 or 4 enemies. And this plane isn't very good at boom and zooming because it doesn't keep its energy when it's at high speed. It loses a lot of energy because it's just not very fast. I want to target the 109 first. He is the closest, and he's probably going to be the most dangerous because he can gain energy back very quickly. But if I go for that shot, I will compress into the ground. And if I don't compress into the ground, I will lose way too much speed, and I just won't have an altitude advantage anymore. I do go for the Mosquito here. Even though he isn't the most prime target, he is pitching up for me, and he's going to make it a pretty easy kill here. So I take him out. Instead of going for the LA5, I switch over to the 109. He has more altitude, and I make a mistake here. I don't really roll over, and I don't roll in the correct direction, which allows me to kind of miss the shot. And now I'm in a bit of a situation because I'm only going 500, and you can see how much energy I've lost because I've been going at such high speeds, and there is now a Yak 3 chasing me. And this is not the best situation, again, because the 109 is going to be following after. He will turn around soon. But I'm going to run from the Yak 3 for a while. Even though he is going to catch me, I want to separate him from the other enemies as much as possible before I engage him, so I have a bit more space to kind of do what I want. I set up for a reversal, and luckily this plane does keep enough energy in turns at like kind of medium speeds to be able to follow shots like that. And I take his wing off from, I don't know how far that was, but it was a pretty nice shot. I now want to kind of regain some energy, because the 109 is going to be getting towards me very soon. I'm going to keep running away from him because this just gives me a bit more time to accelerate, and I can tell that he's going pretty fast, and if I go away from him for long enough, our energies will equalize a bit more because he's not going to really be able to accelerate, and I'm going to be able to. So I now turn in, and he does not follow this, so I'm going to kind of loop back up, and he's going to try and energy trap me here, which it's kind of going to work. However, I am a Ki-100. I have a very low stall speed. Unfortunately, I just missed there, but I can just kind of hang in the air with my landing flaps here, and he's not going to be able to kind of loop back over. I just missed a shot there, but it won't matter. He is going to get away from me here, though. But all I have to do is just kind of level off and start climbing, gaining my energy back. And eventually, the 109 for some reason dives down and does a split S, trying to re-engage here. I don't really know what his plan was. He kind of just gives me the high ground and I'm going to be able to easily dive down on top of him. And yeah, I take both of his wings off actually, but yeah, I don't really know what his plan was there. So skipping forward, there was the last 3 enemies. I sped it up because I don't really know if you want to watch me flying around for like 5 minutes, just kind of flying in circles above their airfield, and I don't know why. They just kind of didn't really bother engaging me, even though there was 3 of them. They used their airfield, and this is just a pretty frustrating match because I didn't really get to do much. If I dive down and like attack one of them, then I'm not really going to be able to kind of gain my energy back. However, they just kind of kept running from me. And this was kind of just a stalemate up until about this point. Luckily, I was able to catch them kind of a bit too high from their airfield, so they didn't really have the best AA coverage. I was kind of out of range, and I wanted that LA-7 out mostly. He was going to be the biggest problem. Luckily, he's a bit too slow to dodge. I get a pretty nice shot and take his plane apart, and I now go head on with the LA-5, and I really want this guy to the game too, so I'm going to spray. Luckily, I get a pretty good shot in the head-on. That's his engine, and he will succumb to that damage later in the match. I now want to gain some speed to dodge the ITP. I do so. I want to dodge under the LA-5 so he doesn't get guns on me. And now I want to kind of go up and keep turning because I have both of them turning with me, and I do turn better than them. So if I reverse my turn, that kind of puts me back in front of their guns. So as long as I keep turning, then they're not going to really be able to do much to me. However, they just kind of dive away, and I'm not going to be able to do anything because their airfield's down there. Later on, this is just, I think, yeah, the LA-5 ends up dying, and that's 7, but yeah, we lose the match. Unfortunate. So fast forwarding here, we have another 7-kill game, and this is actually with Katusha. He was featured recently in my P51D30 video in a 2v12. But yeah, I played this game with him. Unfortunately, he wasn't really able to help me with most of this match. He was kind of caught up in his own situation. But anyway, I started off by merging with a Yak-3 and a BF-109. And I'm not really worried about the 109. I just kind of want to get out of the Yak-3's guns. If you didn't know, the 109F4 did get nerfed, and I recently flew it out, I think today, earlier today, and oh my gosh, it was awful. I do not want to fly that plane ever again. I get a decent hit on the Yak-3. I kill the 109. I turn back around, and I'm going to be able to turn inside the Yak-3 pretty handily here. Unfortunately, I just missed that. Also, sorry for the rant, but yeah, the 109F4 used to be one of my favorite planes, and now it is not. But the Yak-3, I damage his engine, and he's not going to be able to get away. I end up taking his wing off, and I'm now going to be free to dive down on the entire enemy team below me. Right now, I'm just kind of like looking for the most opportune target, and I keep looking at the P-47. The Yak-3 will go down eventually in the background. I think I picked the 109 here, yeah. He's the closest, he's kind of climbing away, and I'm going to be able to kill him if he doesn't really react before the Wyvern gets here. I get a pretty short burst in, but he goes full broadside, gives me an easy shot, and I now extend away. And I am going to be able to kind of get a bit of altitude before the Wyvern catches me. However, I want to deal with him as quickly as possible because there is a lot of enemies around as well. So I'm going to go up over his guns. This is a bit close, but if he sticks this with me, he's going to die very soon. He goes up for some reason. Again, he should have just dove away, and I get a pretty easy shot. I take his entire tail off, and I now have a P-47 and an LA-5 coming in. And right now, I want to dodge the P-47 before I go for either of them, because the P-47 is the only one who's going to have the energy to pitch up for me. I'm just able to kind of dodge his 50 cals, and I want to do another loop here because the P-47 is going to be completely out of energy. However, you can see there's a third dot on the minimap, and I'm looking around, and eventually I will see that there is a Yak-9 directly above me diving on me, and so this situation just got a lot worse. I now do not have an energy advantage, and it is now a 3v1. My engine's overheating, but luckily this plane doesn't really overheat when you kind of switch its radiators. I want to kill one person as quick as possible to make it kind of better odds for me. I'd rather have a 2v1 where I'm not as as much energy rather than a 3v1 where I have a tiny bit more altitude to work with. I want to get the numbers down as quick as possible. And the Yak-9 does lose a lot of energy here. However, those guys are going to eventually catch me. So I'm going to turn in now, and I'm going to dodge the P-47. Luckily, he doesn't really go head-on with me, and I want to go head-on with the Yak-9 here because I want him out of the match. 2v1s are a lot less favorable. Unfortunately, I only get a hit, and now I'm going to have to dogfight the Yak-9 and the P-47 at the same time. I kind of flat turn here. I want to go into the P-47's guns and go down because that gives him less time on target, and it allows me to kind of reverse my turn. I now go below the Yak-9, and I'm going to turn after the P-47 if he turns back around. Luckily, he extends away, so I'm going to have a bit of more time to kind of duel with the Yak-9T. I do a bit of an overroll. Luckily, the Yak-9T turns the opposite way, and he goes down after getting scared into the ground by my teammate. If my teammate didn't come in there, I probably would have died. I now want to be careful to dodge a P-47. I definitely would not have hit the ground. I had that completely in hand, under control. And now it's just kind of about catching the P-47. I'm not going to catch him without the help of my teammate though. But you will see eventually that I am going to catch him and get my 7th kill. Fast forwarding just a bit here. The P-47 kind of runs out of speed because he was dodging my teammate. And I'm going to have just enough ammo to get some pretty good shots in. There he goes. And that is going to be 7. A pretty intense game filled with a lot of action, a lot of dogfighting. I don't even think I got a single break in between my 1st and my 7th kill. But now we're going to move on to an 8 kill game. First, we start off with a P-38 at high altitude. I'm going to ignore the B-25. I'm going to dive to get speed. And he doesn't really pitch into me until the last second. I want to be careful not to get in his guns because this plane is very fragile. And I'm going to be able to one-turn him here if he kind of keeps sticking with this. Luckily he does. I get a pretty good hit on his elevator. And now it's just cleanup. There he goes. I'm now going to go towards that fur ball. And there is, I believe, 5 enemies down there. I want to start off with going for the LA-7 because he's the highest and probably the best performing plane at this BR. Luckily, he does get taken out, but I do finish him. This 8 kill game, I did kind of cheese. I think I stole, not really stole 2 kills, but I killed 2 people who were severely damaged already. I now want to pay attention to the P-51. I go up above his guns. And I loop back over. P-51 dives away, which was the smart option. And now I'm just going to kind of pay attention to who's the most opportune target. I want to go for the A-21 because he is kind of stalling out. He's going to make a really easy shot. He goes down. I now want to go for the P-51C. He's right in front of me. Bit of bad aim. But he turns right in front of me, he goes really slow. And I now want to go for the P-51D, who is getting baited by my 109. Great job, great bait. And I get 3 kills in a pretty short amount of time. Unfortunately, I can't get 6 there because my teammate collides with the enemy 109. Skipping forward just a bit here, there were 2 enemies on the airfield. I go head on with the P-47. I have enough energy. I actually hit him in the head-on. And this is pretty self-explanatory. I had plenty of energy to loop back over. I get a pretty good shot there. I set him on fire. And I'm now going to focus on the T-18. Just dodge his guns, loop back over again. Because this plane does turn pretty well. And you can see the 109G. I get a crit, and I pull off. And then I see that he has severe damage and he hasn't bailed out yet. So I think it's a kill for him. It might as well be a kill for me too. So that one is going to be 7. And the last guy is the 109F. Escaping forward just a bit. He goes into a loop. He's way too slow to really dodge. He's not really paying attention to me either. Unfortunately, I run out of cannon ammo, but I do get some pretty good hits with my machine guns. It is kind of awkward, actually. I forgot to mention the guns on this plane. The 109 does go down because I take his tail control, and that's 8. But yeah, the guns, it's weird. The 50 cals are in the wings, while the 20s are in the nose. So it makes for some awkward aiming, awkward convergence setups. I just kind of pretend that the 50 cals aren't there. I use stealth rounds on them, and I pretend there are only 20 mils to aim. But moving on, we have a 6-kill game. I start off by trying to reverse an XP50, but he does the right thing and extends away. And I'm now kind of left alone. I now go towards the 109. And I'm going to go head on with him here. And I get a pretty good shot, take his wing off. And I'm now going to extend away. This is a pretty self-explanatory one. It's just an AFK P63. I missed the first shot, but it doesn't matter. I'm now going towards the XP50. And he is damaged, I can tell. But XP50s are pretty dangerous, so I want to get some speed and kind of set up for a reversal. I'm going to now turn in, because I feel comfortable enough with the speed that I have. I'm going to go up above his guns, just barely dodge. And you can see how slow he is. I kind of overestimated his speed, but that allows me to kind of go up. I do have a better turn rate than him. And he's going to go in a flat spin here. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to get the kill on him before he bails out. Skipping forward here, we are now diving on a Corsair and a P-39, and the elevator authority of this plane is actually pretty decent up until 650 kilometers an hour, and so I'm not able to pull lead for the Corsair, but I do get a pretty good hit on the P-39. I now go up, and I have plenty of energy to be pretty aggressive here and instantly loop back over down towards the Corsair. He presents a full broadside stalled out shot. Very easy, gives me a free kill. And I now skip forward to just kind of climbing back over towards the last couple of enemies. I want to chase this P-51. However, he is going to be a lot faster than me. This plane is basically like a mini Ta-152H. If you want to say that, you could say it's a less turning, a bit faster Zero. But overall, it's a good plane, it works, and people don't really know how to fight you. Anyway, the P-51 does turn back into me, and since he doesn't go for me, I'm going to pull straight back up into him, and I get a pretty nasty shot there. The guns are working very good this game. I got a couple of good one-shots, and that was a pretty nasty kill, I have to admit. Again, the elevator authority of this plane is pretty strong, and it doesn't really compress up until 650 kilometers an hour, so you can use that to pull 11, 12, even 12 Gs, and just kind of surprise people by pulling into them at the last second. I wouldn't recommend head-ons though. But anyway, we have an XP50 who just took off, and I want to get this guy out of the match as fast as possible because XP50s are cancer. Luckily, I make him benign. Cancer no more. And I'm now going to skip forward to the P-39. He did not come off his airfield until I deliberately went below him. But since I'm going below him now, I'm going to set up for a reversal. I go up over his guns. I almost ran right back into his guns. Luckily I didn't. His rudder starts compressing, and I take him out. Alright, that's going to be the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any suggestions for planes I should fly out, I'm open to ideas. Also, I want to take a moment to say how much I appreciate the support recently. I have gained almost 150 subscribers within the last week, and that really means a lot to me, that you guys enjoy watching my videos. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.